Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hey guys, welcome back to FFC. I'm Maureen.
I'm Jeanette.
I'm Amanda.
And we are back with what I'm sure is a hotly anticipated episode where we will be talking A Court of Frost and Starlight and A Court of Silver Flames. It's been so long since I finished these that I almost forgot what they were called. Because I am now on to book 4 of Throne of Glass. So it's been a minute since we finished this, but it's summer and it took us a little bit to get to this recording. We had Bridgerton to record and we had a Netflix one that we recorded that you guys recorded not that long ago.
Oh yeah, Perfect Match.
Perfect Match, that's what it's called. I wanted to call it Love Island because that's what you guys were talking about just before this.
I wish.
So we had a lot of other recordings. Now, The Bear is still coming out for you. This season was surprisingly hard to get through. I'm not sure why. I think for me, it's mostly that I don't have the time to watch it right now. And I think when we started watching it, it was like school year is when I watched it all. So it's summer is chaotic and insane. So that is coming to you. We just haven't been able to get through it. So hopefully you'll have that next weekend. You'll have a Bear episode that's going over all of season 3. It's not going to be a recap. It'll just be a review. And then we're off for the summer. Of course, we're off in the end of July for the summer, but still we're off for the rest of the summer. You'll get another one from us. The next one you'll get from us after that is when premieres start happening with Chicago's, with Grey's Anatomy. Station 19 is not coming back, but 911 will be back.
You don't have to throw it in our face.
I know. Thanks for that.
Sorry.
I don't really forgot about it until just now.
It's one less thing for me to edit, but it's Grey's Anatomy, 911, and 911 Lone Star will be back. Chicago's will be back. Are there any other ones that we record? See, now we are fully into our, oh, that's right. We are fully into our book era right now. So
Fire Country.
But yeah, we're in our book. Like, I don't even want to watch these shows anymore. I just want to read books.
We will be watching them. I have just a couple episodes to catch up with in Chicago before I'm caught up with it. But we will be watching the premieres. We try to watch it weekly. Again, same setup. You'll get the premiere episode from us. You'll get a mid-season finale in December, and then you'll get a finale episode in May. So it'll still have that same structure. We're going to be bringing you book stuff in the meantime. We're hopefully going to be getting some cast and crew interviews for you. But all that is coming September and later. The Bear will be your last one from us, and that will be next week. You'll get that, and then we'll see you in September. So that's what's coming your way. Don't forget to, we do have a social media presence. We're trying to build our TikTok up. Jeanette is our headliner. That's not what I want to say. You're not a headliner. You're a boss. I don't know.
I like it.
Jeanette runs our TikTok. That's what I'm trying
social
to say.
Media manager.
There you go. I was trying to find a fun official name. Yeah. So Jeanette runs our TikTok. We try to be on our Instagram, but I think TikTok has sort of trumped that, and we don't get a lot on Instagram. So we do have an Instagram. We do have a Facebook group now. It's no longer all of our Facebook groups, plural. We now have a Facebook group called Fandom Family Chats, and that's where we talk about all of our shows and books. We are going to be starting a book club.
I think the plan is we're just sort of going to pick a book every month. We'll probably pick a couple and let like our members vote on which one it is they want to read, and then we'll read it together, maybe have discussions on the page, and then hopefully, I mean, if we have time, maybe do a podcast with us where maybe they could even call in possibly. I don't know. We're still trying to work out the like details of it, but ideally that's what I think would be nice.
Yeah. Because we can do lives with Zoom. We can go live, and then we can have you guys comment in and call in. We used to have our platform used to have it to where we could actually have people call in, but we aren't with that platform anymore. So, but that's something we'd like to get going. And there's not a limit. We read all sorts of things. We like murder mysteries. We like thrillers. We like romance. We like fantasy. So it's for everybody. It's for all things. We just are really, really, really into books right now. So, and Sarah,
we're in our book era. Sorry.
I was trying not to use that phrasing because I feel like that's not a phrasing I'm allowed to use.
Why? Because it's popular.
We're Swifties. We like to talk about it.
That's why I don't feel like I'm allowed to use it, because I am definitely not a Swiftie. I don't understand the Swiftie movement.
Me and Amanda are Swifties, so we can use it. It's fine. We're in our book era.
So we are going to talk this book first, Court of Frost and Starlight. Honestly, this was the winter solstice one. It's a little tiny novella. It was a nice palate cleanser, I think, because
I refer to it as, I think it is like if you have like a light, like a Hallmark Christmas special
that's what you told
for the
me.
series, this is basically what it is.
Yes.
You know how like shows have like their Christmas episodes that are just like that's kind of what this was. This was just our Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will
But
say
it was,
Good.
but you learned a little
did.
bit of things. Like it
I
gave
think
you
it was
some
necessary.
information.
It was fun.
And I think it gave you some information for not just Silver Flames, but it also gives you information
going
for
forward.
going forward and later on for future books.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I mean, I think it was necessary too to like sort of, I mean, we were transferring focus from, you know, Reese and Freya's point of views to now we're going to like Nesta and Cassian. And so we needed sort of that shift of like, and I think it was nice to break it up just to let you allow that shift without being so abrupt, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And honestly, my favorite book of the ACOTAR specific series so far has been A Court of Mist and Fury. That was my favorite. And I was a little disappointed with oh my gosh, what's the third one?
Wings and Ruin.
Yes. I did love Wings and Ruin, but I also Feyre started to irritate me a little more in Wings and Ruin. So this was a nice break from that.
Yeah.
And also Silver Flames was so heavy that this was, I don't think you could have gone from Wings and Ruin to Silver Flames without overwhelming your brain.
I agree.
Oh, absolutely. You needed that little break. I read that book in like half of a day.
Yeah.
But and then I jumped straight into Silver Flames like the same day.
That's what I did.
Like I don't know how much of a palate cleanser it was for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I was like ready for Silver Flame. So I was like, let's just get
so was I.
as fast as I can because I need some like
I think that's why you didn't like the Frost and Starlight as much as because you were really ready for Silver Flames.
I think probably because I mean I think Frost and Starlight it's fun, it's easy, it's whatever, but it's probably like out of the 5, it would be like number 4 on my list of the books.
Okay.
Or as like my ranking.
Fair. I'm looking up to see what my ranking is of Frost and Starlight because again, it's been a minute since I've read it. So,
I know I'll need to look too.
I think I read it in May. I think I finished it. Yeah, May. I gave it 3 stars. That's what
Which one are we talking about?
Frost and Starlight. I gave it 3 stars.
I gave it 4.
I gave Silver Flames 3.5.
That's upsetting to me. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But
I think the highest rated one was
that's a 5-star book, and there's really no
reason. It is a 5-star book. It got 5 stars for me too.
A Court of Thorns and Roses got 3.5.
When did I read this? Jeez.
Mist and Fury got 5.
I did in March, Jenna, if that helps.
February for me.
Wings and Ruin got 4, and then 3 and 3.5.
Okay, here I'll read mine. We got to do it all. Okay, so first book was only 2 stars for me.
I liked it.
And then Mist and Fury was 4.5. Wings and Ruin was 4. And then Frost and Starlight was 3.5. And then Silver Flames was 5.
But I think we all know why I rated it what I rated it.
I know. Well, I really want to know more about what you think though. Like this like when we get to that one. But
what did Amanda's gonna tell us what she rated her books first?
I'm surprised myself. I rated them all 4s except Silver Flames I rated 5.
Okay. And a 3 for me isn't a terribly low score. It's just because I really liked the first book of the series and I gave it a 3.
No, I have some 3s that I really liked, but they didn't hit that 5.
Exactly. There's just things that I would have changed, things that would have been better, things with characters that were flawed or too flawed for me. So, but it doesn't mean I really enjoyed the first book, and I actually did enjoy A Court of Frost and Starlight. So that's why I gave it 3. What I liked about it is we got to see how they function as a family unit much better than just warriors together.
Like some of the fun, like the snowball tournament, like how funny to think about. Because if you think about how like the rest of like the the world and the ACOTAR world thinks of these boys, the evil, the Night Court is like these like just, and what they do is they have a snowball tournament. Like
I want you guys to picture what I pictured in my brain while reading.
Yes, please. I always want to be in your head. Well, that's not true. I usually want to be in your head.
I think I do. Yeah, go ahead. Tell
So
us.
I was giggling a lot during this scene because all I could picture was like Will Ferrell from The Elf. Like when they do the
Rapid
snowball
fire.
fight and he's like rapid fire.
That's exactly like and I feel like this book was so comedic in that a lot of those
Yes.
things, that's what I thought. Like, and then not even like that, but like what wasn't there the sauna after that where like
Yep.
Feyre gets into like there where they can all hear each other's thoughts, and I mean it like freaks them all out or whatever because the things that she's saying to like down the bonds or whatever. Like, I mean, so funny.
I absolutely forgot that they could all hear her. I forgot about that part.
And then let's see. And then I'm trying to think what else. There was another funny scene with like I think like I said, it's been a while. Like Cassian and Feyre don't they get like drunk or whatever, like over at the cabin. Like,
Yep.
I mean, I can just imagine those two being like such besties. And that it like just really cracks me up to think, I don't know. It's just
I like all the memes that come out where it's like they're creating this own little world, but the group texts.
Yeah.
Because they nail that. They nail that Cassian and Feyre would 2 peas in a pod.
They're besties. And I think you find, I mean, like, I think it's more of like Nesta and like Asriel, which you see. I feel like they're more of like, they would be more besties, like as far as like the way so it's a cute little family. I really do love it. The way they all interact together.
And how smart of Sarah Maas to know that this was necessary before what came. That's really smart.
Yep.
There was one other, forgive me if I'm wrong, isn't this the book too where we find out that Amren and her, why am I forgetting his name? Her little boyfriend guy, like, because I thought that
from the
was
summer court.
Yeah, because
what is his
name? What is it? Because all I can think of is it's not Tarquin. It's Tarquin's guy. Like,
there's the V, doesn't it?
Yes, is it? But I can't. Varian?
That's me.
Is it Varian?
Varian, yeah, I think that's what it is. Something like that.
Like Varian is a character
because she's so like hard. You know what I mean? And so just to see like that little glimpse of her in like a relationship, I thought that was a cute little to kind of soften her up a little bit too.
There was this. Now this comes from the Court of Silver Flames, but when Nesta gets mad at Amren and she goes to confront her, and Varian is there with her, and Varian just like just very quickly escapes.
So Nesta
I
is
did like
scary.
that imagery. I will say, okay, so that Amanda taught us a book trick to keep your bindings safe because I love these bindings. I do absolutely hate that this is on here and it's not on any other stupid book. That
a lot of people have that complaint.
Infuriates me. Why?
A lot of people have that complaint.
You'll notice I have my book box turned sideways because I'm mad that they don't all match.
It's, to me, there's a lot more series out there that do you way worse.
That's absolutely true. But I can still be mad about
start
this.
Changing the heights.
Yes.
And like.
Okay, now I hope
the way the wording is
if they go forward and the rest of them have something on the binding, I feel like I can be okay because it can be like the first half of the series.
Yeah.
And then like the second, then I can be okay, I think.
Even if this is the one in the middle that shows, okay, this is the one that changes everything, and then the ones coming after are a little bit different, I could get behind that. Because there'd be 4 normal, and then this one, and then 4. There's still a pattern, 4, 1, 4.
True.
I could be okay with that.
Sure.
But with Lauren Roberts, I hope that her next novella is the same size as Powerful.
If it's not, I'm
big, small, that you have to do that. You cannot. And I hope it's white. Since Powerful and Reckless are both like black with the flowers.
I'm so glad you said this because I thought the same thing. I'm like, if this doesn't, but that's off topic.
I know. We're talking about book bindings. It's the same thing.
It needs to say something full. Like I need it to all like whatever the title of that is. Also needs to be like Wreckful doesn't work unless we do because we've got Fearless coming next. But Fearful, this sounds like a stupid book name too. So, anyways, I'm just saying.
What's the opposite of Reckless?
Safest.
I mean, like cautious.
The amount of crickets that we just heard when we all tried to think of a word.
Exactly, it would be cautious, but that's not like the same. Like
cautious or
full.
Cautious full. There you go.
That does
perfect.
We got you, Lauren. We'll figure it out for you.
No, like, but Lauren, like, if it's not small, because they stack so pretty on my shelf. If it's not small, I will have to probably send her a message.
I need to create a book space because I have like 17 different book spaces in my house and they're all in different rooms. I have to put on the basement for one section. I got this one. I've got some on my dining room table. I've got some on the piano that we have. Like it's everywhere.
Mine are literally all.
Mine's gotten full though.
I need more space than that.
Now, like I will say, like this shelf right here, like I've read all these, but they're like I'm putting them like this way, like how yours are set up.
Oh yeah,
But they're like
big
pushed in. There's like two you
layers.
can't see all of them. There's two layers. I don't know. Because I'm running out of a lot of room. But all these up here are Colleen Hoover's.
I've gotten rid
Oh,
of a lot of mine.
And then I
so-
have like the after series up here too.
Mhm.
And then all these are just different. And then at the very bottom down here is like my self-help books.
I don't have any of those.
careful,
What?
careful.
What?
That's the
Careful.
opposite of reckless.
Careful.
That
I was like,
works for
why?
me.
Why am I being careful?
That works for me.
I
can do-
appreciate the pointing the wink at me, but I definitely had to look it up on Google. I have an English degree, and I had to look up what's the opposite of reckless on Google.
careful.
That's
okay,
really
so
sad.
hopefully that's what Lauren's going to call her next novella.
Cautious. I like mine better. Cautiousful.
Oh, we're dumb. Anyway, the reason we started talking about this is because Amanda taught us a trick with the bindings, and I tried doing that with Silver Flames, and I don't know if it's just because it's such a big book, but I didn't get it right in the front half, so there's like 2 creases in the front half. The back half is fine, but right here there's 2 creases, and I hate it. I open it and it falls naturally to it, but I'm afraid to open it too far now because I don't want it to get worse.
Well, if you already have a crease.
Yeah, but I don't want it to get worse.
You
All right, so
know.
let's get into Silver Flames. Do we have anything else we want to say on the court of Frost and Starlight?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it was really smart for her to write that. I think it's a completely necessary book. And for those of you saying it's not necessary and it's a throwaway book, you're insane. Because your head has to be real dark all the time to go from Wings and Ruin to Silver Flames and be totally okay. I couldn't. That sounds meaner than I meant it to, but I think they're both so. I mean, Wings and Ruin ended with that incredibly violent death and battle, and then you go into this, which is filled with depression and dankness and darkness. And by the way, dank is now a positive word in today's slang, and I think that's so dumb because dank is actually a word, a real word, and it just doesn't mean cool.
Look, these kids don't know what they just randomly throw out words. They don't actually know what they mean.
I'm gonna throw this out there. Gen Z slang, well, not tail end of Gen Z and Alpha slang. Your slang is dumb.
It's pretty dumb.
It's dumb. Skibbity toilet. What is that?
Apparently, skibbity also, like the other day, Elena said something skibbity, and I'm like, Elena, and she's like, no, that's good. I'm like, wait,
it's both.
I thought it was bad. It can be both. How the hell do we know then?
That's what
and then today I picked up a pair of shoes when they're shopping, and she said, oh, those are kind of skibbity. I'm like, skibbity good, skibbity bad. Like, I don't know what you mean. You know?
It's the same with Sigma. What does Sigma mean? Oh, it means like you're awesome, you're great. What does Alpha mean?
Jacob is a
Sigma.
it's
the same thing as Sigma. Why do you have 2 words for the same thing?
But now I'm pretty sure a beta is not a good thing. Like,
no, it's not.
No, it's not.
I was talking to my husband. He's like, well, it's from the Greek alphabet. Do you really think that a generation with Skibbity, Ohio as their slang is looking at the Greek alphabet saying, I think this would work in our slang? That's not how this is happening.
Skibbity, Ohio is a bad.
Skibbity toilet is also bad, yeah. Like,
which is awful because my husband's family is from Ohio. Stop using that as a slang.
No, they're kids. That's weird. I don't know. Anyways.
All right. Go to Silver Flames. All right. I gave this a 3.5 stars because
5 stars.
I had to skip approximately this much of it.
Well, you missed the good parts.
So
you missed all the good parts. I'm sorry then.
I read maybe half of the book.
On my Audible, I'm pretty sure I like flagged like some of those just in case like I ever want to go back and listen to them again.
You flagged it like it's bad, or you bookmarked it?
Bookmarked it.
Bookmarked it. Like I can come back and like check it out. If I
no, see, the hard thing is, and I don't mean that as no, that's not no. I heard the noise come out of Amanda before I even finished the sentence.
No, that hit your brain before it did mine.
But I listened to this while I drove. Because I didn't have time
with
to
your
read
kids
it.
in the car.
No, are you even saying no? Because I had to be ready. And let me tell you, it's real fun when you're driving down between cities to try to skip something. My internet was going in and out, and I was like, sometimes it wouldn't skip because my internet wasn't really there. And then I had to listen to it anyway, and I'm trying to like pause, and I can't pause. It was so infuriating. But when I listened to it at home, I listened to it while I read, so it was easier. I would pause it and I'd skip ahead to where it was, and then I knew where the next wording I could pick up at. But I think the general story, it was unbelievably heavy.
Yeah.
It was.
very heavy.
But there's
And
a lot of comedy in it too.
I mean, there was some comedy for me.
The House.
I love the
House of Wind. I have a shirt that says House of Wind Book Club. I almost wore that today.
Okay.
My favorite.
Now, on our last podcast, you said you don't like resanding much and very much anymore. And you said, just wait. And I don't understand why.
No, hold on. I didn't say I don't like resand. I said resand.
No, I said as much.
Okay, yeah, because I do think there was something, what he did, I think when we found out that Freya was in danger with her pregnancy and the fact that they kept it from her, I feel like that was a very Tamlin thing to do. And not, when we met Rhysand, I feel like this is not something that he has always been, she is his equal, she is his partner. Why was she not brought into the loop to make this decision for herself?
I agree. She should have been told.
I feel like he was, I don't know. It felt a little out of character, like, for it. And also, honestly, I think he's too hard on Nesta most of the time. Like, Nesta is like, honestly, she's got her issues. Like, and I don't understand why. I don't know. Nesta's my favorite character in the entire series. So, like, I'll defend her. Like,
I think we have to put ourselves in Rhysand's shoes there, because the reason he is so hard on Nesta is because what she put Feyre through before she even became Fae. That he said that in that book, that he finds it difficult to try to forgive her for what he put on Feyre's shoulders before she became Fae. That she hated Feyre. She made it known that she hated Feyre. She punished Feyre, and Feyre's the one who had to feed all of them, even though Nesta was the oldest. And so I think that was kind of where I agree. I think he should have forgiven her sooner, but I don't really understand. Like, they love each other in a much more aggressive, deeper way than I can imagine loving someone. And I think that's where it comes from him.
Maybe. But I also don't like, I didn't like how, like, Nesta was essentially held prisoner in this House of Wind either. Like,
that was Feyre's doing, though.
And I don't like
she
that.
could get out.
But I don't like that. Well, could she though? Like, you can't walk down those steps. No, you cannot. There's no way. There's 10,000.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Cassian and Ezreal and Rhysand did it.
I just think,
I'm just saying, give me a sled.
Coming from what Feyre went through with being, like, locked up with Tamlin and all this things, it just felt like what a strange transition to then do this to Nesta too. Do I think Nesta needed help? And, like, we needed, absolutely, like, I'm not saying that we needed to let her continue on the way she was doing, but it felt like she was a prisoner, and I just don't know.
It did.
I don't know. I just didn't. It
but
felt
Nesta had a choice there.
What was
she didn't have to go to the house. She could have been cut off and tried to go out on her own.
She could have, but she knew that wasn't,
because she knew that being in and I guess I'm coming from it like an addict's perspective. I think from like an addict's perspective, you need to give them both extremes. You either have to completely go it alone without any help from us, because we will not continue to let you kill yourself like this, or you will go to where it is safest and best for you, where you can detox, where you can come out of this. She was in rough shape that first day. If she was not at the House of Wind, if she had easy access to booze, she wouldn't have been there. There's no way she would have gotten better. So it seems rough and aggressive, but it is what she needed. And that's why Nesta chose it, because she knew the alternative, she would not survive. But she knew that this was a survival. And also, I mean, she could have grabbed like a mattress and made a sled going down the stairs. She could have done that. So so it was her choice to be there. Yeah. And it was Feyre's idea. It was because she knew she needed it. On some level, an addict knows when they need help. She wasn't happy about it, but she needed it. So I didn't find that bad at all. I thought it was beneficial and good. And look at the friendship she made with the house.
Granted, look, lock me in a house that brings me books.
Oh my gosh.
There with me all the time. Like,
and chocolate cake.
I mean, it's not exactly like, it's not a bad prison. It's a prison I wouldn't mind to spend some time in. So it's okay.
I did like when they're like, Nesta, the house can't talk to you. It's a house. She's like, talks to me all the time.
She's like, exactly what?
Yeah. And not even just books. I mean, what the house would bring her, like, smutty books. Like, the house would bring her, like, get it, girl. It's so good. I don't know.
I love that the house was a girl's girl.
It made me think of, speaking of, like, funny, like, pictures in your head, all I could think of was, like, the casita in Encanto.
In Encanto?
This is except for, like, darker. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
like dark grays and blacks. Like,
that's what I kept thinking of too.
Yeah.
I didn't have an issue with going back to the Rhysand and Feyre thing. I took that to mean more of because like with Tamlin, it was, I'm going to protect you from this hypothetical threat that I don't even know if it will ever come, but I'm going to block you from being able to move or do anything. And I think for Rhysand, it was, I need to have options to give you, so I'm going to protect you from this very real and present threat while I do it. Maybe he wouldn't have, but I think he was looking for a solution. I think that was his goal, but I think maybe he wouldn't have ever told her.
And
That's
I don't
very
know that
possible,
he would.
but
I just don't like. I feel like that's an acceptable way to like if there's something your child and you're needing to research things. But like Feyre is an adult, so like why couldn't she be there with you to help you try to figure out solutions too? Like I guess I just don't understand. I feel like she was treated like she was not treated like his partner in this or his like high lady. In my opinion, you didn't treat her that way. Now a lot of the Rhysand, I've read this and I think there's some truth to this. The first few books we hear about Rhysand mostly from Feyre's point of view. We are now hearing about him as from Nesta's point of view for the most part. She has a different view of him. So I feel like that is kind of interesting to think that maybe the narrator is having some say so in like the way that like, his character is being portrayed. So like I get that too. Like don't get me wrong, I still love Rhys. Like I'm not saying I don't love him because I do. He's still like number 2 in my book, like as far as these men go, but just liked him a little less than I did before.
Yeah, I didn't have that issue at all. And I think too that Rhys has watched his family be slaughtered, and he watched so many things taken away that his instinct is to protect. And I think it was easier. I think you're right. He should have told her. I agree with you. He should have absolutely told her. It was her body that was going to die. So she needed to be, I think it was unfair for her not to know it was going to happen.
Right.
But I think that I can see where I can understand him more than I could with Tamlin.
Yeah.
There was no real threat in Tamlin.
No, I agree with that.
Although
and don't get me wrong. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I do hate, by the way, how they left Tamlin's court. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's over.
I don't care. What do you mean?
They completely decimated it.
No, I don't care about that at all.
I do. I feel a little bad for them.
Bit. No, not even a little bit.
I spent too much time on TikTok where people are like, they did Tamlin dirty. Well, I don't think they did Tamlin dirty. I think Feyre did.
I have never seen that part of TikTok. That doesn't show on my feed.
That doesn't exist.
I mean, that isn't like that's not on my feed. Like no one cares about that.
I will say, every single time I try to text Tamlin on my phone, it tries to say tampon every single time.
Show you something. Yeah,
it's probably where that came from.
I think so. I think that's where it came from, and it just fit.
It fits so well, right?
Somebody did a typo one time in the right place.
Perfect. But no, I talking about the Feyre thing again. I will say though, and I mean, like I said, I love Nesta. She's my favorite, but I don't agree with how she told. I mean, she obviously told Feyre like
to hurt her.
She did, and I mean, even Nesta admits that later that it was wrong, and so it's fine. It's whatever. But like, I mean, even though I think Feyre should have been told, but I definitely don't think she should have been told in that manner. I mean,
and even in that, like that's forgivable because hurt people.
Yes.
Nesta was broken. Nesta was, I mean, she wasn't just cracked. She was completely shattered.
She was shattered. Yeah.
People like that can't think on a level beyond pain and hurt. So even that, like, I was like, oh, Nesta, that was not smart. But okay, I get you, girl.
Yeah. Like, this was the only book that I think, there were moments, like, I teared up maybe in Mist and Fury, and I teared up in Wings and Ruin, like little moments at the end. I full on sobbed in this book when it's towards the end when she's having like her breakdown, like to Cassian about how she's not worthy of any of this, and she doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really. I thought that was super emotional, and I don't know, maybe where I listened to them as audios too. Like it was like a lot to hear this narrator the way they like did that.
I will say I was waiting the whole book for that because I was real sick. And this happens in some of these books where it's just like, even in like the book Powerless, it was just on repeat, the same thing. In Fourth Wing too, just the repeating the same thing over and over. And I just want to be like, Chandler, get there faster.
Yeah.
I'm sick of hearing you say the same things on repeat when people are showing you and demonstrating and doing all these things. And again, that just depicts how broken she was, that she, even though it was being, this love was being shoved down her throat. She was so broken in herself that she couldn't get there. So I waited the whole book for that, and I was, truth be told, I was getting a little annoyed with her with the often, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm cold. It was irritating me a little bit. But it's I understand why she was that way though, so I didn't hate her for it. I was just, it was irritating to read.
Yeah.
I
just think for me, she's a much more interesting character than Feyre ever was, in my opinion. Like, I mean, and that's okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't dislike Feyre or anything like that, but I don't know. I think that's why I like this one the best. I just felt like the plot line, the emotion in this was just a lot stronger than like the other ones. I felt a little more connected, I think, somehow.
I felt like that more in Mist and Fury for me.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, yeah.
And also, I like the Valkyrie storyline, but has anyone else watched Thor in the Marvel Universe? The Valkyrie, the Valkyrie and Thor. It's the women army in the Marvel Universe is the Valkyrie.
Oh yeah.
So that's all I was picturing was like Thor and his hammer and these women. And I'm like, oh, cool! I like that.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite. I love like their little trio, like friendship. Like I loved it. And they made friendship bracelets for each other. Like how freaking cute.
That was something I really did like about the book was how Nesta was fighting for these women. She could not fix herself, so she tried to fix others. But not in like I don't, fix is the wrong word. She couldn't help herself, so she made it her mission to help others is what she was doing. And I thought that was a really smart way to write that character. Because you're showing that there is a failing in this character that she can't get out of, but she knows it's a failing, and so she's putting it out. Even though Nesta wouldn't admit that to anybody, she showed it. Sarah Maas showed it by having Nesta care for these other women more than she cared for herself, and I thought that was a really smart way to write in how broken she was.
And that is a fighting thing, by the way, of a lot of people. Everybody says that Nesta was put into this house, kept there, not able to leave, but she did have a lot of freedom. She made all new friends. She had a whole new, I mean, she wasn't just, I feel like a lot of people when they're on like TikTok and things I read, they're like, Nesta was just left by herself. And that's a lot of people feel like that. And I don't, that's one thing I don't get. I mean, she had Cassian, she had Az, she had
Gwen
and Emery. Like she had all these.
And Feyre tried. And the thing is, though, that Nesta didn't want people. That is what people forget. Like they left her alone. No, Nesta didn't want anyone. That I mean, it was because of the failing in herself. She needed people, but she didn't want them. And you can't help someone unless they want help. And so, she was there at first by herself, except for the house. But it's because she didn't want anybody else there. They weren't being awful to her by doing that. Nesta put that on them. Nesta shoved them away, and they were smart enough to realize, okay, she's not ready yet. Because even when she would try to escape down the stairs, Cassian didn't stop her. He just waited patiently at the top of the stairs for her to come back up. Even when she was trying to go out there, the house would help her along the way down. So it's not that she couldn't go, it's that it was something that needed to happen so she could see how bad it really was with her. Because you can deny, but that doesn't make it not true. So I think I don't get the hate over that. And I know that there is a side of people who feel that way about it, and I don't get it. I'm not on board with that.
I don't either. That's just one thing that I see all the time. That I'm like, I don't understand. Like, did you guys read the book? There's because I mean that's one of the things that I love about this book is Gwen and Emery, and
that's my favorite.
Like the female badassery.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to explain it.
About it.
Like
think about like when they had their sleepover. I'm like, how amazing!
It's like and the house helping her with the sleepover. It was just I don't know. This was my favorite book out of the series, just because there was the battle part of it. So you have like your action of it, but you also have so many down and depressing moments, but a lot of really funny things happen too.
It's my favorite too. And I know we joke about like obviously because it's smuttier, but like that's not why it's my favorite. I mean, I love those scenes because I thought that a lot of times that was where, and that's probably what a lot of times that's where the funny was. This is probably why Maureen's not thinking that it's funny.
Like, you keep saying Cassian, that, and I'm like, where?
Like there was a lot of funny between Cassian and her. Like she said that we got to keep this somewhat PG, so we can't talk about it on here. But like their relationship was amusing at first. I think they picked at each other. Like it was a definitely like.
To me, it's like also fun, like Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing was hilarious when like the lightning kept going off like during those scenes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because
I don't know about that
I
either.
hadn't really thought about that, but I feel like the banter of how like Nesta and Cassian get together reminds me a lot of like Xaden and Violet. Like they're
Yep.
kind of like, because like Nesta's like against it and she's not gonna have any part of this, and then they start, doing stuff even before she allowed herself to like admit that she had feelings for him. So at first it's just physical, and even all of that's funny. And then poor Az, like in the mixture of all of it, just kind of like having to walk into rooms after things have happened. Like that part's funny because he's just trying to not be uncomfortable, but he obviously is. He knows what's going
I
on.
do love Azrael.
I cannot wait to know more about him.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that that's coming. That's another thing we could talk about. So, okay, now we can ask Maureen. Are you team like Elaine and Lucian?
oh,
You're not. You want her with
No.
Asriel?
Mm-hmm.
I do not.
oh,
The only
No.
reason is because now I love Lucian, but it's just because Elaine doesn't want Lucian. And so it's until she wants him, I can't find myself being Team Lucian.
she doesn't know what she wants.
I know,
Do you
but
know-
she does. But there's a level of peace and comfort around Az for her. So I'm willing to bet when the next book comes out and she starts to understand life as a Fae, I'll be more Team Lucian. But
Okay, here's the thing though. Have you, I need to ask this though. Did you get to read the extra like Asriel scenes? I need to find them for you. Okay. You
I
need
don't
to
think
read
so.
the extra scenes because and this is why, like, did you see anything between Asriel and Gwen?
No.
Mm,
This is why
that's who I
gotta
want
get,
Asriel
I
with
gotta
so
get you the
bad.
extra chapters. I am
There's extra
so,
ones?
Yeah.
yes, they're bonus chapters. Hold
Well,
on.
I didn't get those. I
Because
didn't know that.
because I want Gwen and Asriel together. His shadows are like drawn to her. Like I feel
Well,
like
then
that
that would
just
be
means
different.
something.
Yeah, the only thing I just read Court of Silver Flames. I didn't nothing extra, just what the book presented
Hold
to
on,
me.
Asriel bonus chapter. Hold on a minute. It's on Tumblr. Let me just send it to you.
Because that would be better. I think I could because I want someone to protect Gwen. And I like how Az was with those women because he is that protective guy. Just for Elaine, I honestly I'm not a huge Elaine fan.
I don't like her at all. I really hope we will like her, like once her book, like when we get more.
It's just
But
right now it's just hard for me to root for her to be with someone she so clearly doesn't want to be with. That's difficult. And Lucian isn't, I mean, he wasn't really around much in this book. He
No,
had to
he
make
wasn't.
himself scarce. So it's hard to be team that when I don't
I
see
think
them
it's because
together
I
ever.
love him so very much
I
that I'm
do.
like, he deserves to have what he wants here.
I think he deserves to have something better than Elaine.
Well, I
I
agree
get
too.
that they're mated. I get that.
She's
But
his mate. So like
I
how is
know.
that gonna like I feel like that's gonna hurt him so bad to not to have his like the bond rejected like that.
Yeah. No, I
Thinking
want
about
Elaine
how
and
his-
Lucian together.
I
All
feel
right, I'm
like
just
they
gonna
will
have
be
to
together. I just need to see her want it because otherwise it feels too icky for me that, okay, we're going to shove you into this dude even though you don't want
no,
it.
I definitely because I definitely want her to want him, but I really think I'm hoping just Google it because I can't get it to like say just Google Asriel bonus chapter
Okay.
and you'll find it.
And that's part of the other reason too is I love Lucian, but I really love Az. And I want Az wants certain things and he keeps getting it ripped away from him. Like, nope, sorry, you're not good enough for this one. You're not good enough for that
Yeah.
one. And I don't like that is the message that Azrael is receiving. So
And
I
that's
want
why
him to have what he wants.
hopefully check that out then see what you think because it gives a little bit more into both into Az and Elaine, but then also Az and Gwen. So
Mhm.
like you can kind of see,
Oh, well,
which
that'll be
makes me
helpful.
think that's definitely what the next book is going to center around then. The fact that these bonus chapters were in there, I feel like that
You think
has
it'll be about Az?
I think it's gotta come next, yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
do.
that'd
Combination
be,
of that foursome maybe, like, and how we're gonna
I
like
hope so.
yeah.
Because that's the other thing that made me sad in this. Lucian made me sad in this book.
Mhm.
A, he was hardly there, but B,
Yeah.
he wasn't forced by anybody really, but he
I know.
was forced to leave by Elaine essentially because she didn't want to be around him. Although she didn't say the words, it was very clear. So
She's so weird.
I feel like I feel like Lucian is just, I don't think he deserves it.
Yeah.
I
No,
think he
I
deserves
agree.
good things.
If I could choose for both of them to have somebody brand new, I would do that.
I think
For
Elaine
Gwen,
just needs
though.
to heal.
But I think we need to see, because like, I mean, I like Nesta all along just because I love a black cat energy in like my female book character. So like, I think I've always liked her, but I know a lot of people didn't, and it took her book to bring people around. So I'm
Mhm.
hoping that that is what happens with Elaine, that once we get her book and we get to see her point of view and we get to see some of that stuff, that it will change.
Honestly, the reason I don't like her is because A, she's kind of meh. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
what is your purpose? A, but also you're mean to Lucian.
That's my biggest
So those are
I think
the
she has a really big purpose.
I do too. I just need to see
We're
it.
just not there yet.
Yeah,
I
no,
agree
I
with you
agree.
completely.
To me, Elaine, I just kind of like write her off for now. I don't like think too much into her other than she needs to be with Lucian. Like that's my only
I just need
thought
him
about
to
Elaine.
be
I'm with you.
accepted and wanted, and yeah, I need her to realize like, why are you being so mean to him? Like, what has he done that's like upset you? Like, great.
Even if like yeah, I get hearing the moment you turn Faye, that's my mate. That's a little like, ooh, hold up there, buddy.
Sure.
I
mean,
get that, but you can't even have a conversation with him. What
Yeah.
has he ever done to make you fear him? What has he ever
Yeah.
done to anybody? Even when Feyre was in the spring court, he still tried to help her, even when he knew that she was not doing what she said she was doing. He still tried to help her. So there's nothing about Lucian that says danger. There's nothing about him that says abusive or terrible person. Why can't you just sit and have a conversation with him?
Yeah, no, I
So
completely agree.
that's why I wasn't team Lucian and Elaine, because I was like, girl, bye.
Yeah.
That's felt
been
really
hanging out.
awkward and stiff coming out of my mouth, but
No, I love it.
No,
You've
I
been
get
hanging
it.
out. You've been hanging out with your kid too much. Like Elena told me, girl, bye the other day. Like, you know, like stop.
I do like to use slang around my daughter because it absolutely freaks her out.
Yeah, right. Well, David asked her the other day something about Riz, and she was like, please don't. Like, let's not talk about
Take a piece of your kid's food and tell them it's Fandom tax.
I do. Okay. So I'm going to upload a video to TikTok. I was with my niece and my nephew and all my daughters at my mom's house last weekend, and I had them each do a recording. My niece is the same age as Maya. They're 2 weeks apart. And then Jane and my nephew are a little less than a year apart. And so they did Gen Alpha, and Melinda and Maya did Gen Z, and it was really, really entertaining. Phantom taxes, they explained that one to me.
Yeah.
That's also dumb.
It's all dumb. Like it's all dumb.
At least
we had
ours
slang
made
too, though,
sense.
back in the day.
Yeah,
that
but
was freaking
ours
dumb.
made sense.
I feel like I think
Maybe.
Except for
it did.
Homeskill.
us.
That's the only one that did make no, because I went through ours too. I went through ours and then Boomer, and I did that with them. Ours made sense.
But it made sense
It's the
to
only one.
you.
No. Like even like going through, they could
have some
pick out
dumb
what they all
ones.
meant because they made sense.
Did it make sense to like your mom? Like if you were to ask your mom, like would she say it made sense?
My mom and my kids, they all understood what they meant. Because ours aren't insanely weird made up phrases.
But also, I honestly have a feeling that it was because our social media we didn't have a presence in social media.
That's true.
I agree with that.
If we did, we would probably have some really freaking dumb phrases.
My kids, this one
we weren't. We were kind of wild.
Our slang is normal, but our nicknames were way meaner.
So bad.
So we talked about Lucian, we talked about Cass, we talked about Azrael, we talked about Elaine.
There's probably not a whole lot more.
No, I don't think there's really anything. Do we have anything else?
Maureen wants to talk about the headboard scene, so grabbing on.
I do know. I won't even know what you're talking about.
That was a good one.
Or the dining room table scene.
Hold on to the headboard.
Did you accidentally hear any of those? Like, what about like the dining room table? Did you?
That one started. I'm like, oh no. So
yeah,
I
only didn't expect it to start.
I
at the
only
dining room
know
table.
that there's something with the dining room. That's all I know. And then I was like, oh nope.
You love us.
Anyway, the one thing I had a problem. Well, not the one thing. I wish they weren't in there. I don't think it was necessary. But those scenes took forever.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
forever.
I feel like there was one that was like a whole chapter.
I know.
Because when you're listening to it, and again, I listened to this while I was driving back and forth to things because I was going back and forth to my physical therapy appointment. So it's like 2 hours in a car. So
I would love to see your face because I can just sit in the car just normal, just
my whole body was like, no. And then, like my hands are flying all over the place to try to stop it. But I'm driving, and when you're listening to it, you can only fast forward 15 seconds at a time.
Yep. me.
It took so long to fast forward those stupid scenes. So at one point I was like, I'm just going to go to the next chapter and see if I missed it. And the next chapter It
Was it
wasn't still
finishing up?
going, but it was like we laid there like it was like 30 pages.
It's glorious.
It was great.
So that is honestly, that is my biggest complaint about this book, is that the smut scenes lasted so long, and it was like quadrupled what the other books had.
That was
quadrupled.
Mavis' favorite part of the book. What?
So again, I only read like 3/4 of the book because I had to skip. I had to skip at least a quarter of the book. In all honesty, I had to skip at least a quarter of the book. That's a lot to cut out of a book.
Have to.
Yes, I did.
You didn't have to.
Yes, I did.
You chose to.
I needed to. So I think that's why it got 3.5 stars. If I didn't, because I mean, even a quarter of this book, that's still a lot.
I mean, we knew going
That's
into
like
this one would
whole
not be your
chapters.
favorite.
Oh yeah, we knew it wasn't going to be
we
one of
knew
your
it was.
favorites.
Yeah.
It's one of our favorites for an obvious reason.
I do think that Nesta is probably one of the most in-depth characters that Sarah J. Maas has gone into. I think that she has created in her so many different layers, and she really dug deep with Nesta's character, and I appreciated that. I wish it wasn't so dark and heavy, because I like a book that kind of brings me up and down and up and down. I need some light spots, and I guess I had to skip over all the light spots. So maybe Sarah J. Maas was trying to do that, but I didn't have a lot of light spots in this book. It just because I had to skip those parts, it just felt very like, oh man, I need to read a light book now. I need to read something completely out of this universe.
Yeah, that's why it actually has taken me so long to get through like the Throne of Glass series, is because they're like every book is heavy. That like I do like, but also fantasy is not my favorite genre.
Romantasy is for me, and there's
romantasy I can do.
There's not a lot of romance in Throne of Glass.
No, but I do like I like Throne of Glass though, like the series. I do. It's taking me a little bit longer to get through them.
Well, I'm going to read Queen of Shadows here eventually.
Have you started it yet?
I know, because I did Reckless, and then I was doing something.
I think you might like.
Once I read it, if I still don't like it, I'm done with the series. But
I think you're gonna like Queen of Shadows. That was my favorite one so far.
One of the workers at Barnes and Noble was really hyping this up for me, and he made a good point, so I'm going to use it. He said because Throne of Glass was her first series, she was very young writing it.
She started at 16, which can we just take a minute and applaud her?
That's awesome. Yeah. No, I completely agree. And by the time we get to Queen of Shadows, he said it is about the same time that she started her ACOTAR series. So the writing should be very similar in the way that she does it. So I'm hoping that it will pick up and I will enjoy it.
I can actually see that, because I feel like Queen of Shadows like actually captured my attention more than the other ones have in the past.
That's what I'm hoping. And I want to finish Crescent City, and I want you all to, because Crescent City, the first book, was fantastic in my opinion. Like,
I have them.
I thought it was so good. So
I'm gonna start them once I finish Throne of Glass.
Like I said, there's a lot more language in that, but in a way I think about it like you talk about the bear, and you don't mind the language in the bear, the show.
Because it makes sense.
Because it's set in a more modernized world than these other ones, and they're kind of young college age type kids. For me, I feel like it does sort of fit the persona of those characters more than it would like hearing like some of these other kids like say it. I feel like it's more like, I mean, I guess there was a lot of language in Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, I think. So I think it's probably more along those lines. But also that's sort of in that same world of like their ages and kind of all that kind of stuff, so.
Yeah. And I think language is easier for me to read because my brain automatically changes the word. But a graphic sex scene, I can't alter what I'm reading.
Like with Crescent City, I think there's a couple times where like maybe she's thinking things, and then there's one scene that I can remember. But other than that, that's it. It's not a lot.
And I think that's why I'm loving Throne of Glass, is because there's no sexy time.
See, I wish there
and
was.
I appreciate that. I appreciate.
She's a little bit.
No, she has not described any sex.
She doesn't describe it. But
there's like, hey, I woke up with him, I had
though.
sex, whatever, but they don't describe it, they don't go in the depth. It's just she doesn't, and that's what I like, because I don't have to skip any part of these books.
Yeah.
I feel gypped if I have a book that I have to skip large portions. It's not even worth the read if I have to do that.
Yeah.
Although Silver Flames is so massive that even though I skipped a quarter of the book, I basically read a book and a half, even of what I read. So that wasn't that bad. But Throne of Glass, I'm really enjoying I think it's the writing. There's a very clear difference in the writing.
Yeah.
She did
Yes.
the first, I loved Assassin's Blade. I thought it was great. I started with that.
I wish I had.
I really appreciate it.
I liked
The
reading
writing
it the way I
is
did.
clunky, but she's 16. However, I've always said I can get over bad writing if the story is good. And the story is good. I think that the main character is kind of unbelievable. Like and I know we're going into Throne of Glass, but we're going to end after this in a second. But I think that it was interesting that she kept saying she the Darlin's assassin, but then she kept being jumped. She kept being surprised. She kept
there was.
Are you really that good or no?
See, I did Assassin's Blade, the fourth book, as the fourth book, and it was a little bit crazy to see the difference of her writing from going, rather than doing it as the first book, reading it the fourth. That Sarah J. Maas says to read it the fourth.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she said to read it first. That's why I started with it.
Her recommended order is first, but in chronological order, it is first. So that's, I mean, I wish I'd read it first because I honestly just, I don't know. I think because I already knew what happened to Sam, I wasn't invested. Like I didn't care. Like I think I would have been really emotionally invested, and it would have meant more to me had I not known what was happening.
See, I liked that because I didn't want to fall in love with Sam. I knew he was going to die.
I would have liked it,
but I still like to hear their story.
Even in Assassin's Blade, I read it at first. I wasn't that attached to Sam because it was very quick.
Yeah.
So I didn't get an opportunity to give it.
Yeah.
Now, what is she wrote? Obviously, the Throne of Glass series was her first series. So it's around the fifth or the fourth book. What is the fourth that she started writing ACOTAR?
Around the fifth, because that's
Queen of Shadows is fifth.
Queen of Shadows is that's what the guy Barnes and Noble told me. So
okay, all right. So that I can see that the writing does get better. And I think
it does.
when she wrote ACOTAR, even from ACOTAR to A Court of Frost and Starlight, the writing improves.
Yeah.
So it ACOTAR, I liked it because there was very, very minimal sexy time. And so I appreciated that. And I love the world building, but even her writing in ACOTAR to the end of the ACOTAR series as we have it so far, the writing has improved. It's gotten more streamlined, more smooth. The Throne of Glass series it starts out very, very clunky and almost repetitive, but the storyline itself is interesting enough for me to overlook that.
I can agree with that. I don't feel a connection to those characters like I did in ACOTAR, and I think that's where, or even like I did in Crescent City with just the one book. So that's where I need to like.
And that's
so many characters in Throne of Glass, and it's almost overwhelming.
And that's one thing I said about it is what I appreciate more about the ACOTAR series is I feel more connected to the characters. I feel like the characters are more developed. But Throne of Glass, I appreciate the story more.
I can understand.
I don't really care a lot about some of these characters. Like Selena, I don't really care about her.
I like her more after Queen of Shadows.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will say Assassin's Blade kind of took her down a peg or two after reading Assassin's Blade.
That's where I'm at.
Because they were kind of like building her up, and then I read Assassin's Blade, and like you were saying, it just like she kept getting jumped, and like things it made her feel weak in Assassin's Blade. So going and I don't know, I probably should have read Assassin's Blade first too, just because
anybody out there like that's I wish I had. I think that's the best order to read.
It felt like a smooth transition from Assassin's Blade in. So I would recommend that first too.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot of information you need going forward. The one thing I will say is Assassin's Blade had some storylines. Yeah, but Assassin's Blade had some storylines that I thought she needed to continue, like the Red Desert. And then we never hear from it again. Like what?
Yeah.
Well,
that needs to be continued.
Maybe the only reason is because of like
Peppered
and the only reason maybe she says to go there is I know the reason I went because I was going to skip Assassin's Blade just because I was ready to. I didn't want to go backwards in time. Okay.
Yeah.
But I got
Jeanette does not like this series so far, guys.
I don't. I'm sorry. But I started Queen of Shadows and I was like, wait, what? Like there's information in Assassin's Blade that you absolutely need for Queen of Shadows. So you might forget it. I hope you. I mean, I don't know. That's the only thing that might be an issue.
No, I didn't. Oh. I guess if
you started and you've read so many books since then,
I think you would.
Okay, because
I feel like that it was pretty prevalent information.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, who's this? And I was like, okay, I probably need to read Assassin's Blade to understand.
No, that's when I told you to stop and go back and
I know
and read because you're gonna miss so much stuff.
Yeah,
really, because it was technically the first book, so
And I
you need
think
to read it.
what we'll have to do, because we are in the Sarah J. Maas world, and because it is such an extensive world, I think when we finish the Throne of Glass series, we'll give you an overall review of the series. And then when we finish the Crescent City series, we'll give you a review of that, because that's still current. Did she just release her, what, 4th or 5th in the Crescent series? Third. Only third?
Yeah,
but I
the
think
third
that
just came
I
out.
don't know if there's going to be more Crescent City or not. I honestly
She hasn't
don't.
announced that there's going to be any
So
more.
she wrote Throne of Glass first, and then halfway through there, she started writing ACOTAR, and
I
she
think
still
she might
continued.
be
And then did
confused.
she start Crescent City after ACOTAR?
No, I think maybe before. I just know that you
I think
have
in the
to
middle
read
of it.
Maybe because I just know you have to read ACOTAR before you at least read the last Crescent City book. Because that's where my cousin is. I was like, you got to stop. You got to go read ACOTAR because you're going to get spoiled with something. Because a couple of the characters appear in the the third Crescent City book that are from ACOTAR.
Yeah, I know that her worlds collide.
Because that's the other thing, is that I thought it was all one world, but so far Throne of Glass has not.
No.
See, I think they're
view
just in
them as,
different time periods.
That's what I view them as too. Just
because like the whole like magic thing, like we have magic in ACOTAR.
And then it's gone.
So was ACOTAR before or after Throne
That's
of Glass?
what I'm questioning.
I
That's what I was
picture it
confused
before,
about.
I think.
I picture it before too. Like I feel like this is like Throne of Glass's.
And then Crescent City, I picture is after it's come back. Like,
but also
that's how I picture it in my head. I don't know if that's right. I mean,
what time period do you guys picture when you're reading Sarah J. Maas?
Like,
what's different?
Old English time.
That's what I pictured, except for Crescent City, because y'all haven't got there yet. This is like a modernized world because they have cell phones and stuff. Like
Throne of Glass, I'm picturing like Old English world, Middle English, and ACOTAR is something other. It's kingdoms, but
to me
it's
is
bright
like
and
so
it's
different
vibrant.
because it has. It feels like a combination
exactly
of old time, and because then she's wearing leggings and an oversized sweater, and then you're like, okay, well that's like nowadays fashion. And then
but in the 5 seconds we got in the human world in the ACOTAR series, I did think Old English based on the castles and the iron and that stuff. But then it's almost like when she went into the Fae world, then it was jumped forward by thousands of years.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. It was a mix there.
I saw like a little Reddit thread of people going back and forth on what, and everybody's like all over the place different. I wish Sarah would come out and say like what,
give us something to
like, well, at least what was going on in her mind. Like, how does she picture it?
I wonder if it'll be make more sense and tie in a little bit better. Oh, ACOTAR and Crescent City were written the same year.
Okay.
They both came out 2015.
That's wow. Okay.
The first
woman can churn out books like crazy.
She can.
Let's see. ACOTAR is 2015. Crescent series, it said the first one came out in 2015. Crescent City. So they both, ACOTAR and Crescent City,
first I didn't realize Crescent City came out that long ago.
Yeah, because that's why I thought there was more. Oh, she wrote it in 2009 though.
Oh.
Okay.
Back in the Twilight days. Oh yeah.
So I think overall I'm enjoying the series. I can't wait to see more, but I am a little concerned at the rate at which the smut increased. So I am a little more concerned about her next ACOTAR book. If it's going to be worse than Silver Flames, I'm not going to continue.
I don't think it'll be worse.
I don't think it'll
be worse. Really, I think it's because it's Nesta and Cassian.
I think so. I think it fits them more than it will, like, say, Elaine if we go forward with her.
You're not going to have these like spicy scenes with Elaine like you will Nesta. Nesta was.
Not. I don't think so.
I don't think so. It wouldn't flow very well, in my opinion, unless she like did it right, I guess. But I don't think
it'll be more like it is with like Reese and Favor, where it's like sprinkled in, but it's not like in our faces quite like. I don't know. I don't imagine it will be, but
okay. Because if it is, I have to be done with the series. So I hope it doesn't, because I really like this world and I like the storyline, and I'm surprised that I like the fantasy aspect of it as much as I do, because that's not. I'm usually my favorite is like Regency time period, so old romanticism and murder mysteries. That's usually what I gravitate towards, or like things on the Holocaust, like books around that time period. So I hope I don't have to stop reading this. I think overall, as of now, for the ACOTAR world, I would give it a 4. If I'm taking the average of all my scores, I think it would have to be a 4.
Well, if I was to average, it'd probably end up being a 4 for me too.
I would say a 4. I would say 3.5, 4.
I think Thorn of Glass is rating higher just because I don't have to skip as much. But I'm not finished with that series yet either. So that may be a whole different ball game once I get
so
further
far
on.
right now. That's a 3 for me.
Yeah, same.
I got it. And that could change.
I think I've only
I'm
given
not
them
done.
5s and 4s and 4.5.
Oh my gosh, no! My first Throne of
No,
Glass.
I'm rating them like 3, 3.5, 4s.
Oh, I did not.
Because like when I read the book, I love the book. So, but I forget about a lot of it.
But I think for me, Air of Fire, I rated 3.5. I think for me, if I don't have to skip a lot, I'm just so excited I don't have to skip that I rate it higher. Even if the book isn't that good, even if the story's not that great. I think I just get excited. Yeah, Crown of Midnight got a 5. And then Assassin's Blade got a 5. Air of Fire got a 3.5.
Air of Fire. What'd you do?
Throne of Glass got 5. That got 3.5.
Air of Fire was my lead. Like that one almost made me quit.
I didn't really enjoy reading that one.
Throne of Glass, I gave 4.5.
Hold on, I gotta go look at mine now.
Well, no, I did enjoy reading. It felt very unrealistic, but I was interested in the because I felt like it was building up this fate because we finally are in magic, so it was building that up. But that one got the lowest grade of it all for me, 3.5.
I rated them all either 4, 4.5s. That's none of them got 5s.
The first 3 books got a 5 from me.
Okay.
Oh wait, let me go to Queen of Shadows. What did I rate that?
Throne of Glass got 3.
No, Queen of Shadows, I did 4.5 too.
I'm gonna look here. It took me forever to go on here. Wait, where's? Oh, there it is. It just
and I read all of them in 1 month.
Okay, Crown of Midnight was 3, so same as Throne of Glass, and then Air of Fire got 3. I think I've done them all 3. Yeah, all of them have been 3s.
It might have all been 4s. 4. One, there was 2 of them that are 4.5s.
All 5s except for one got a 3.5. So, and the only reason I actually really enjoy, I think it's because it's a world that I could understand because, it's not as fantastical. It's not as fantasy as ACOTAR is. So it took more for me to understand. So I think, and the characters in Sarah J. Maas's world are better. I would fully admit to the characters in ACOTAR being better. They're more likable. They're more personable. They have more personality just in general. Yeah.
You get more of that personality in
Throne and Glass, they're all very one-note characters.
Mm-hmm.
But the story and trying to figure out what's happening is what grips me in there. I think more the mystery of it. I think that's where we're at right now. When is the next ACOTAR? Did she say when the next ACOTAR book comes out?
We have a date as far as I know.
But she did announce there's a 6th one coming, correct?
Yes. So who would you say, like, maybe to finish up, what do we say, like, your favorite characters in, like rank? Like,
I would say
top 5.
I would say Reese and Cassian probably tied for first for me.
Okay.
It's the dudes I like more than the girls.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest. Because not Nassian. I actually
Nessian is actually their ship name, by the way.
It is.
Nesta, I like her, but it was a struggle to like her until the end of Silver Flames when she actually started to recognize her brokenness. Once she started to recognize her brokenness, I started to like her, but I got so little of that she has to rank lower. Okay. I'm honestly, I'm not a huge Feyre fan either. Like I like her, but I wouldn't say she tops any list. Amryn is pretty high up there for me. Moore is pretty high up there.
Yeah.
But I think it's Rhysand and Cassian tie for first. It depends on who's funnier in the books at any given time. That I'll go with one of them.
Yeah.
Probably right under them is Amryn, and then Lucian, Az, and Moore, and then Feyre, and then Nesta, and then Elaine.
Way down there by Tamlin, in my opinion. She can just sit down there with him. So, yeah. No, I agree. I think mine's probably, like Nesta's my favorite character. Cassian's very close. Like I think it's Nesta and Cassian the tie for number 1. Reese is right below them. So see, I still love Reese. But then I think I'd throw Feyre in there. Like I think she'd be number 4 for me. I still like her. I like Amryn. I think I will love Azriel. I just need to know more. Because as of right now, I think it would be Nesta, Cassian, Reese, Feyre, Lucian are to my top 5 probably.
In my is the same exact yours.
Yeah. With Amryn is close there. Like, I mean, and Azriel, I think will. I think Az might bump. I don't know.
No, I think
I love how protective and quiet and he's just a very firm character. I love that.
He's another shadow daddy, and we like those too. So like, I think Feyre could get bumped is what I think might happen, is because I think if we get more Lucian and Asriel in the next book, I think poor Feyre might get bumped out of my top 5.
I think that's where the book series needs to go next is Lucian, Elaine, and apparently Gwyn.
Yes,
But
go read those chapters.
I need to read those. So I think that's what I hope for. I hope for a book on that.
Who else I love though? We didn't get to talk about this much is Eris. I'm sorry.
I do like him a lot. That's when Rhys made me mad. When he's so awful and terrible to Eris. I did not like that.
I think there's more to that story. I think maybe we could do
too.
There's more with that Mor and Eris thing. Like I don't think she's painting. It honestly made me drop my Mor's likability. I feel like she is hiding something from us.
I agree. I don't think it's on purpose. I think that she was already so broken and abused that it, almost like trauma brain took over, and I can't lay this all at my father's feet because he's my father, so I have to attribute some of it to the one who found me.
Yeah. So I think Eris is like I picture him, and I don't know why in my head he's like a Klaus Michelson. This is like what pictures in my head, like maybe
I think even better than that.
But like where he's like kind of like we all think he's all bad, but like to the people that he loves, he's gonna be like really good. And honestly, that scene where him and Nesta, like where she was like trying to impress him with her dance, like that scene plays out so funny in my head too, because Cassie was so pissed off and so jealous. But I was low key like, wait, I mean, don't get me wrong, Cassian's Cassian, and like no one can be better, but like Eris,
I do like him a lot.
He's up there.
I think just like this one had some background on some other people, I think we need, as much as I want it to be about those 4, we do need to start peppering in Eris and more, because I think there needs to be a book dedicated to each of them because we need their origins. We need to figure out, I think the route to understanding how this is going to end is understanding how each person's story has progressed.
Yeah, that would be great.
So it says expected release in 2025.
Well, that's so soon.
It's not set. That's when it's expected to come out, is in 2025. So like we said in the beginning, your next episode coming out from us is The Bear. This has been the final, as of now, for the ACOTAR series. I'm officially caught up to the girls on ACOTAR. They all read it first. I will be surpassing Jeanette, most likely, on Throne of Glass. And then once I finish those 8, I'll move on to Crescent City. We'll give you some of those updates as we finish the series instead of doing you book by book by book. That takes forever. So we're not going to do that. But that's what you got coming your way. Have a great summer after this, and we will see you real soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.